Hi guys, my name is Noni Matikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about Gwabini, the witness that could blow up the state's entire architecture. You know what it is? That's the one that you know. We are here about the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, and we have 5 men that are sitting there as accused men that were hired by Kelly Khumalo for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. And we still don't know the motive of Kelly Khumalo. Kelly Khumalo is still not arrested, but Kelly Khumalo has been pinpointed as the mastermind. We will do videos. We still have an entire month, I think. Or in fact, yeah, an entire month and 2 weeks for us to deal with all of this. But maybe we'll be off on the other few days of Christmas, the 25 to 26. We'll see. But do not forget that we have entire month. We will talk about all of these things. We'll go back to on time, when the case started, etc. But right now, the focus. Let's focus on what is currently happening. Every trial has a fracture point, right? We know this. A moment where the state's confidence, the defense strategy, and the court's integrity collide with catastrophic forces. In the Senzo Meyiwa trial, the fracture point has a name, the name wishes it could, the name that it wishes it could erase. And that name is Gwabini, Sifiso Gwabini Zungu. Yes, that one. You heard that right when you heard the name Zungu. Yes, he is the nephew of Constable Sizwe Sikhumbuzo Zungu. He's the nephew of him. Not because he is important, but because he is dangerous. Who's dangerous? Gwabini. Yes, Gwabini. He threatens the state not with what he says, but with what his contradictions expose. When we say contradictions, hang on, you will find out what do I mean by that? What do I mean by him contradicting? He's not contradicting himself. He's contradicting his uncle. Okay? Usizwe, the constable, Sizwe Zungu. That is who he is contradicting, because Usizwe Zungu came with a fabricated story, and this one is like, let's bend that page. Let's bend that. He's lying. Yes, that's what this one. So he's contradicting him when I say contradictions. And you can come for me. And let's stop pretending as if things are not happening. The state has engineered a legal paradox so unstable that it defies basic principles of prosecution. Now we've got 2 Zungus, the uncle, the father uncle, and the nephew. Yebo. Yes, that's what we have. 2 alleged central figures, 2 sworn storytellers, 2 sworn enemies of each other's truth. Their versions don't clash. They collide head-on like trains on the same track. This isn't inconsistency. This is mutual destruction. And the court now has to choose who survives the impact. The state's entire case is a house built on 2 foundations, and each foundation is actively tearing the other part. This is not reasonable doubt. This is a fatal doubt, the kind of doubt that doesn't weaken a prosecution. It incinerates it. Because whichever Zungu the court rejects, that rejection becomes a judicial admission that the state knowingly relied on a compromised narrative. Let that sink in. Let it sink in here, okay? This is the nightmare scenario for any prosecution. When the witnesses you depend on become the witnesses that expose your collapse, the state tried to run a marathon with a broken spine. Now the defense is pressing directly on the fracture, and the court can feel the pressure. There is no procedural escape route left, no postponement, no, we will clarify later, no cosmetic repair, because the issue is not just credibility, it is impossibility. There is no way that Uzungu, the constable, can come and say there was a braai, and then the person the braai happened in his house says there was no braai, there was no such braai, and Uzungu, the constable, has no one else that says there was a braai. Absolutely none. There's nobody who says there was a braai. Nothing whatsoever. Akukho lutho. Lutho nje. No one says, yes, there was a braai. It's only Constable Zungu who says that. Do you understand what is happening here? Because if the issue is not just credibility and it's only impossibility, the court must now, because the issue is not just credibility, right? The court must now answer a question that defines the entire trial. Can two mutually exclusive truths both be accepted? If the court says yes, the trial becomes jurisprudential fiction. If the court says no, the state loses the backbone of its case. Either way, the court is cornered, the state is exposed, the defense is ascendant. Understand this. We are no longer dealing with a weak case. We are dealing with a structurally collapsing prosecution whose internal contradictions are now visible from orbit. The two Zungus problem isn't a crack. It's a fault line. And Gwabini is the pressure point sitting directly on top of it. One wrong judicial move and the entire architecture the state has spent years constructing will implode in seconds. So yes, how the court handles Gwabini will shape this trial, but more importantly, it will reveal whether this case will stand on law or whether it is already in a free fall. That is what we are dealing with when it comes to the entire narrative. Kubi, it's bad. It is bird. Kubi, guys. So I don't know, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? I want us to have a discussion. Do you think that Judge Ratta is going to, what do you think Judge Ratta is going to do? Let me ask it that way. What do you think Judge Ratta is going to do? Do you think Judge Ratta he is on crossroads? He doesn't know which direction to take. Do you think Judge Ratta is going to survive this? When I say survive, Umdala, for crying out loud, dealing with this complicated situation is too much. It is too much. We can't run away from that. What are your thoughts when it comes to this, guys? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. I want to hear your thoughts. Everything that you have as, what do you think must happen? Let's talk. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.